Welcome, Marina. So lovely to have you today. And I'm delighted to be talking to you today about the Akashic Records and specifically the 8-week Akashic Record journey that you went on with me. Because I've had a lot of people asking questions about what is it like, and thought what the perfect person to answer those questions would be somebody who's actually done all the workshops. So over to you. What inspired you to take this course, and how did you feel about the Akashic Records before you got started? Let us know what your take on it,
Mhm.
everything is.
Yeah, hi, thank you to have me here. I'd love to answer these questions because it's been a big part of my journey, the Akashic Records training. So I always had heard about them. I kind of knew it's like some library about everything we go through and about our soul journey and very spiritual type of thing. But I'd never really paid much attention. I'd also heard that they say that Edgar Cayce was taking information from it and said people like that. And it was quite funny. One of my friends, actually, she had a friend who was offering Akashic record readings. And at the time I said no. And then later on, I met two people who actually trained in it and they needed people to practice with. And I thought, you know what, let's just try it. And I was just blown away by the sessions, by both of them. It just felt so supportive, so just like really just connecting with like a good friend from the other side, very loving, very supportive, very confirming. I was going through a tough time at the time where I was worrying a lot about things, and it just really just changed me. So
Wow.
that was a really good experience.
Wow, Marina, I know a lot of people say that it's like when we find ourselves in the third dimension in these physical bodies, it's like we cast out to sea. Everything seems foreign. We can't see the land in sight. We feel abandoned. And then when you have an Akashic record reading, all that changes and you start to get all those answers. So wonderful. I'm pleased to hear that it was so supportive for you as well. Yeah, good. Okay, so can you share a moment with us that you enjoyed specifically during the 8-week training that you did with us?
To be honest, I enjoyed every single session was really amazing. It was so lovely. I always looked forward to them. What really stuck out to me though was even the first session where we did the higher self work.
Yeah.
That was so special to me. I love it so much. I find it so helpful, despite I've been doing a lot of spiritual stuff and healing trainings for many years, and I've been meditating for many years. So I kind of used to connect to a higher instance or my higher self and ask for messages, but I had to sit down and meditate. So in that session, we learned how to just really do it very simply, very easily and ad hoc. I could be literally in the supermarket and ask a question, what's the best thing to buy for me? And it was so easy. It was just such an eye opener. So I really, really love this practice. I use it daily still. And it was a very good just beginning of the course, just to introduce ourselves into the sphere of things. And I love the Merkaba
Okay.
training, which I felt was really stepping up my whole energy and vibration. And I found it very protective. And just the meditation itself was very powerful for me. And of course, the Akashic Record, learning how to open the records, that was a special moment for me, especially when we learned how to do it for ourselves.
Yes.
And yeah, I started doing it on a daily basis, and that was so nice. And it felt, the surprising thing as well was I didn't have to worry about anything. Everything just felt so flowing and so easy. So, sometimes when people feel, oh, am I going to be able to do this or not? I just cast everything aside and just let myself kind of surrender to the process. And it was beautiful and still is.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. So I know what you mean. It's very difficult to explain what the Merkaba does until you've done the workshop. It's so difficult to explain because it takes 2 hours to do the workshop, and to try and explain the benefits and how it's going to work is without actually doing the actual workshop is quite challenging, I find. So I'm really pleased that you can attest to everyone that that actually did work for you, and that it raises you up to the fifth dimension, so that it's easier for you to get into the records. It's easier for you to connect with the beings of light. And it, like you say, it's life changing. Everything in your life changes when you've activated your Merkaba. And we do this slowly. It takes about 3 months to see the full spectrum of changes coming in. But you do get some wins straight away, I noticed. And then to move on to the opening the Akashic Records, I found that I will never ever feel alone again for the rest of my life, because once you've opened the records, you can feel the energy of the team. You know that they're there, you know that they're on your side, and that you know that everything in the universe wants the best for you. So that is also quite life changing and very supportive. It's like that life raft out in the ocean, stars to guide you to the next place, and then millions of beings of light surrounding you and helping you, saying,
You're
come
right.
this way,
Yeah,
come
it
this way,
does.
come this way.
Yes, it does actually feel like there's a lot of beings there. Actually, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even sometimes deceased loved ones, different types of guides. It's just like, it's almost like a platform where you can connect. You know what I mean? It's
True.
yeah,
Yeah.
where you can just log on and and there they
um,
are.
and then I noticed, for myself, certainly the record keepers and guides, after I'd done the journey myself, they guided me to a specific style of opening the Akashic records. And I noticed that everybody that I teach, they each end up with their own style and unique way of opening the records and the type of reading that they do, which is so interesting because there's millions of people on the planet and they all need a specific, or they need to be matched to the right Akashic record reader. And I noticed that the record keepers and guides were very keen for me to teach this work, because they keep saying, we need more Akashic record readers, we need more earthlings to pick up this yoke and move forward and help more people, because I won't appeal to a large percentage of the population, but I do appeal to certain people. And then normally I find that the person that comes for a reading, they have, or to do the training, they have a connection with me that's just like, they can just have that energy connection with me. And similarly with you, you've had such good reviews from your Akashic record readings, and that's because people have responded to your energy and they need to hear from you personally, on how to move forward in their lives. So well done for, you know,
Thank you.
being inspired to do the work and actually taking it forward and actually helping so many people that I know you do help. I've seen
Thank you
the
so
reviews,
much.
so well done, well
Oh,
done.
that makes me so emotional.
I feel
Oh
a bit
my gosh.
emotional today.
Yes. I literally feel like even talking about it, I feel my heart is really opening.
Yes,
It's
yes,
just such a beautiful space. Thank you.
sure. I don't think we're alone today. I think we are being
Mm.
supported by that very loving
Yes.
energy of the guides.
Yes.
They're coming in and helping us to feel all these lovely emotions.
My gosh, I want to cry.
Me too. Me too, me too. Anyway, one thing I did want to ask you is, did you have any advice for anyone who was thinking about doing this work, or do you need a moment? Do you need a tissue?
No, I'm okay. I've got tissues here. Oh, I'm all right. Oh my goodness. Didn't expect that. So what I would say as advice, to not worry about, am I going to be able to do it? Or, am I going to be able to connect? Is it going to work for me? Because I feel, as you said, everybody who's doing this, who feels drawn to do this, is called to be doing this. So I think just like we have all these beings here now with us, making us so emotional, everybody's being supported, and it really, really introduces the person to almost like their support system, their divine support system.
Yeah.
And also, I would actually recommend this even just as a self-development course, regardless of whether somebody would like to actually do the Akashic. I'm getting goosebumps now. do the Akashic readings for other people or not, they
Yeah,
can still make that decision later on, because it's a wonderful, wonderful self-development course that really, really, from my experience, it really steps up your energy. It's like literally from one light bulb, lots of light bulbs go, light up, and the voltage is really being stepped up. And
yeah,
also, it felt like a clearing, and like your spiritual gifts are being awakened, really. So I can really recommend that for that. So not even to worry about, do I really want to do the readings? It's an Akashic reading course, even just for yourself. It's
yeah.
so valuable. So I'm still now, even almost every day, I use the readings for myself, doing my own Akashic record connections. So yeah, just not to worry. If you feel drawn to it, just go for it, because there's a reason, just listen to your heart and just listen to that feeling. And don't
And
worry about being right or wrong, on managing or not managing, or being able to do it or not. It really have so much support. And I felt this course really felt like just so flowing and so light and so easy.
wow, thank you, Marina. That sounds amazing. Makes it so,
That's
so good. Thank you.
my
Um,
experience. Yeah.
well, I guess I also can't really take the credit for it because it was downloaded through me
Mhm.
from the guide. So it's kudos to them for bringing this information forward for us at this time. Really, really interesting. One thing that I was just thinking about is that I never ever used to cry before I opened the Akashic Records. I was, brought up in a household where
Mhm.
crying wasn't actually acceptable, but
Mhm.
at the same time, I did feel like putting that emotions aside so that I could function in the 3D and survive here was very much my MO. And then when I started this whole journey, it opened up the floodgates really. But I wouldn't say that I have a problem with the crying. I think the crying is good because what it is it's bringing up emotions and love, unconditional love from the universe. That's why I'm crying, because I can suddenly feel all the love and the support that's available for us, and that we're not alone here like I had felt before. I had felt very alone, and I had also thought many times, how am I going to survive all these years? How am I going to make my life work in this place? It's too difficult. It's too difficult. And then when all these types of skills came online and I was able to download all this information from the record keepers and guides, all of a sudden, all the light, like you say, the light bulbs go on and the connections create, instead of thinking, how am I going to survive this third dimension? All of a sudden, we turn that upside down, and now I'm thriving and I'm loving my life. It's just a very different world from going from, I don't fit in here, I've been abandoned,
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong place. How is this happening to me? Why did I choose this? And then we just turn it upside down and we say, actually, this is who I really am. And I do credit the Merkaba majority of
Mhm.
the work to the Merkaba, because that is the work that actually opens up you to your spiritual skills and releases your innate spiritual skills down. I can start using light language. I can start trusting my instincts. I can do all those things. And someone like yourself and the other students as well have confirmed the same thing. Suddenly you know who you are, and there's a lot more to enjoy out of life. It's a lot easier to enjoy our lives because of that.
Mhm.
You're nodding. You agree with me, huh?
I can only second that. Absolutely. I had my theme in life was also abandonment and feeling alone. So yeah, I don't have that anymore. But as you said, with the crying, yeah, it is this crying out of just this being moved so deeply and feeling this love so deeply. And also to, as part of our self-development, it does bring maybe some emotions that haven't been allowed the space to be expressed.
Yes.
But then the good thing is that you can always ask for help,
Yes.
and guidance, how to deal with this or what's going on. And yeah, that's very helpful, very supportive.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that just reminds me of the homework that I give on level 1, open the Akashic Records for yourself. All of a sudden, you've got shadow work to do, but you don't have to do it alone. You get to do it with the guides, and that's an eye opener, because the shadow work is all about those problems that we have in our life that we can't see. We just can't see them. It's like that expression, you can't see the wood for the trees. So you could probably ask your nearest and dearest what's wrong with you, and if they were brave enough, they would tell you. But actually, when you do the Akashic Record course with me, you'll be given the shadow questions to ask, and then the record keepers and guides will tell you in the most loving way what's in your blind spot. So then you can actually, and they won't just leave you alone with it as well. They'll give you beautiful guidance to help you to fix up anything that's not 100% perfect. And then that will open doorways for you. So a lot of people come to me because they're stuck, they can't move forward, and they don't know why. Some of that is karma clearing, which is something we do in the very first Akashic Record reading. We do the karma clearing, and then we go on to all the different levels. But those things that are stuck in their vibration keep them from getting that promotion at work, moving to the country of their dreams, moving to the house of the dreams, finding their soulmate of their dreams. All those things can prevent us from having what we want. And the record keepers and guides tell me over and over again, every spiritual, or every human that wants to, has the birthright to create heaven on earth. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to overcome those things that you see are wrong, or that make you uncomfortable, that you can see that are unpleasant. You're supposed to overcome them. But what I find very interesting is some people know this because they've watched the film The Secret, or they've connected with Abraham Hicks, but they don't know how to get from where they are to where they want to be. And that's where I find the higher self, Merkaba, and accessing the records is just that magic that you need. Yeah, I just goosebumps all over me while I'm doing this. It's just the magic that we need to get to where we want to be. And for centuries, I think people have struggled with different things. So if you were born into a certain type of family, like I look at my great-great-grandparents, they couldn't escape from their surroundings. They were stuck there. That was the kind of job they'd have to do. No problem. That was the kind of person they would marry. This is the kind of house they would live in. This is the place where they would stay. And then fast track that to now, and everything has shifted so that we can get this really, really wonderful work coming forward for us. And once we've done this, taken those steps, set that intention, life is just so much easier. And I'm very grateful to my ancestors for persevering, because otherwise I wouldn't have been here. But at the same time, I just wish that they could have the tools that I have, so that they could have changed their lives the way I've changed mine, because I can see the negativity that was handed down through ancestral difficulties, person after person. And now we have the power to make the changes. And I have had some high fives from some of my ancestors, because as I've cleared that heavy stuck energy around them through the working with the records, through clearing the karma through the records, I've noticed that the whole family line has shifted and lifted. So I get a lot of high fives from my ancestors, say thank you, because even though they're no longer physically here, the benefit actually works backwards through time. So it's quite interesting.
It's so far-reaching and wide range of applications, isn't it? And effects.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yes, it's my mission to get everybody happy and living the life of their dreams, living their best life, bringing a little slice of heaven to earth, and hopefully that will be much more easy for them to do once they've done all the workshops. Wow.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Marina. It's always a pleasure to work with you. And thank you for all those lovely things that you said about the workshops. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure, always a pleasure.
Okay. And I will definitely be seeing you in the WhatsApp group because I find that that's been
Yes.
an amazing way to bring everyone together, all the spiritual people, all the people that have done the workshops, all collected in one place. And I've also noticed that a lot of people are contacting each other on the WhatsApp group and forming friendships and swapping readings and doing all that magical stuff, so that it's not just me telling, because it could be, I could just be an anomaly, but it's not just me. All the other people I've trained are saying the same things about the record. So it's quite nice that there's a community of supportive people, because let's face it, we can't just talk to anybody about the Merkaba or dragons, unicorns, and things like that.
That's true. I love it. It's becoming more and more of a beautiful, loving community, supporting community.
Yes, yeah. You've
So
noticed.
we have the support upstairs, as I call it, and we have the support here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, well, have a very magical rest of your day, and
Thank you. You
see you
too.
on WhatsApp. Take care.
Thank you. See you. Bye.
Bye.